Hey, today we are making a slab house. So you'll already get a piece of slab that I've already pre-rolled. It's about finger thickness for you, but I'll also have rollers on your table. You'll need a paper towel, obviously the instructions, a tool, and then the kind of slip water, okay? So the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out a house. So I like to very lightly draw the house on my clay before I cut, because if you don't like it, you can kind of erase it with your finger, okay? So it needs to be about the size of your fist. And then when you cut, you're gonna go straight to the paper and cut straight down. If you need to move the paper, you can. And straight down. This extra clay I'm gonna set aside. And then I'll make the sides of my house. And the roof line doesn't have to be like my roof line. It could be whatever you want. It's your house. And then I'm cutting straight down all the way to the paper and removing the extras. Okay, so this time, if you have like a little unevenness, you can kind of fix that and trim the pieces down. So at this point, I'm gonna smooth out around the edges, because all these little pieces like that, when it's fired, it becomes really rough and it becomes sharp, because even though it's soft today, it's gonna be bisqueware next week. So this water mixture will be great. So I just dip my finger in there and I'm gonna rub the clay water on all the corners. And I'm picking mine up just so I can get both sides the same time, and always rub it in. You don't want to leave it shiny. Okay, so you always want to rub it in because you want it to absorb. So I always think about water for my clay as kind of like lotion for your skin. So you wouldn't walk out of the house with a big blob of lotion on your skin, you'd rub it in. So you want to do the same thing with the clay. So I've got two sides. And then this year I've purchased some stamps. So at this point, I'm going to use my rubber stamps with my initials. You can have your name in there. And I'm just gonna press it onto the back. Oops, where's my K? There we go. Okay, and set that aside. Now I've got my house. Now it's time to make doors, windows, and things like that. So I'm gonna use the same slab that I already have. I'm gonna cut out the pieces. There, I'm gonna set that aside. And this may be my door. I may have to cut off some more. So I've got kind of a rectangle that's way big. So just take it back and cut it. Okay, so you'll notice you have to go back and cut several times. Now, my door is about finger thickness. If that's too thick for you for what you want, you can use the rolling pin, and you can take the rolling pin and just kind of lightly roll it out, and that will smooth it out, one, and two, it makes it a little bit thinner. So if I don't want this texture on here, I am gonna roll it out. So it makes it a little smoother, but now I have to cut it, trim it again, and go all the way on all sides until I have my desired size. Okay, check. Okay, I like that size. I'm gonna kind of smooth out the edges like I did before. You don't want any rough areas. And then if I just sit it on there, it's going to stick for now, but it can fall off. So we want to score. So with scoring, I'm gonna kind of make a mark on either side so I can kind of see. Just kind of create little hash marks or little X's on your clay. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna kind of lock the clay together. And you can put a little bit of slip water right there too. And then I'm gonna place it where I want it. Give it a little push. Okay, we're gonna push it just so there's no air bubbles or anything trapped in there. And this is where I like to use my tool. And then I'm gonna kind of seal around the edges. So I'm making sure this is attached. I'm gonna seal around the edge and seal around the edge. And then down here on this side, I can just use my finger and that's fine. So it's still some rough areas. That means that water will be necessary. Okay, so my door is attached. So you can use another tool if you want to use it for the handle. You can make it just an impression like that, whatever you need. Okay, and then you can add windows if you want to add them like I did for the door. You can. You could draw them on. You could have a roof. And if you want the roof, I'm going to take this extra clay, kind of wad it up and kind of knead it. So I'm pressing it into the table, lifting it up, twisting it. Okay, so I'm kneading it to get rid of any air bubbles. And then I'm going to make a little coil out of this. And you can roll it onto your paper. I like to personally roll it onto the table because I feel like it doesn't move as much. And then you just kind of gradually start in the center and work your way out. Notice how my fingers kind of spread apart. Now if that's getting a little large for you, you just cut it and then keep going, okay? Until you have the size that you want. Once you have the size you like, my clay is going back here, kind of, oh, this will do the whole thing. So that's great. So I'm gonna score it around the top here, little X's. I'm gonna cut this piece off here, place it where I want it to be. I'm gonna press it down. I'm gonna cut off a little bit here on the end. And I'm gonna put these two together. So I'm gonna cut that. Cut this one off. And I'm going to kind of press to get rid of any kind of air bubbles. Okay, a little water would be necessary. I can use my tool here to kind of smooth that out. Smooth it out. Use my finger and a little bit of water, rub it in. And then you can keep adding more and more details, whatever you'd like. Okay, if you just have it like this, where you have a roof and a door and drawn on windows, I'm happy. Okay, have fun.